Hello everybody, welcome along to our weekly apiary update with myself, Josh and Roger. In this week's video we're going to be moving Roger's nucleus hive into one of our WBC boxes to create a nice, strong colony going into the winter.
Right, okay, well I suppose we better move this first. Okay, so the scheme is that we're going to put that nuke, what I have just lifted aside, into this WBC box to grow into a full-size WBC type colony. Bring the brood chamber over. Bring the lifts over, making sure that we put the one with a porch on it and the entrance at the bottom so that the bees can actually get in and out, because otherwise it really doesn't work. And the idea is that the bees that are out foraging at the moment will come back to there where the entrance used to be, and we will trot straight in to go home for the night. So that should work, leaving merely the younger bees in this nuke box. I think I'm going to turn that through 90 degrees if it will still fit, so the frames will be the same way. So we're going to do kind of a shook swarm here, but not quite. Look, there's a little bit of brood on that side. Fair amount of nectar and stuff. And on the outside, again, there's quite a lot of brood and more nectar and pollen. So if I just give it a fairly shaky shake, then a lot of the older bees will fall off and go into the new box, where they will set up a roar and start fanning and saying things like, "Gosh girls, where's Her Majesty?" and stuff like that. And it all gets a bit exciting. And that's got it's got sealed brood and nectar and whatnot. Got the wires are rusty. I don't know whether that's going to put them off finishing the bottom couple of inches, but regardless, I'm putting it in there. So that gives us a basis, so we can now find our queen and push her in the gap between those two frames, and she'll stay there.
Oh yeah, look at that. She's a good size, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Picking her up by the wings, put her in the... Whoops, no, she won't go in the space. Silly girl. And that one is partially drawn. There's a lot of pollen on it. There's a lot more pollen on that side. I think maybe I'll let him keep that one, although it's, it's a little bit manky, but
One to come out.
we can take it out later as things develop. And I'm going to shake some bees off here into there. Another one full of brood. Oh, yep.
So that's fairly
Got
old.
a seal brood. Fairly black. Well, fairly dark brown. Oh, in many ways, it's quite a good frame because it's all worker brood, but it's just a couple of seasons old, and we'll be wanting to get rid of that one just to change it out.
So those 3 frames have got brood yet to hatch.
Yep.
So they will hatch out, and that will be their home. And the idea is what, to shake some more off.
Next week, when we come to do the inspection, we'll shake all the bees off into that box. But they'll mostly be baby bees, so they'll be acceptable to another colony anyway, because none of them will be more than about a week old. So they should be fine. And it means that you don't, the sort of proper chook swarm, you take the queen out and you burn the rest. Well, we're not doing that. We're trying to get a new colony going. So we're not going to take the frames out and burn them. There's no disease issues. It's just, oh hell, what am I doing? I'm going crackers. It must be the heat. Yes, there's no disease issues with the colony apart from the varroa. So we just make as much use of the bees as we can. As they emerge, we'll shake them into the new box, into the new colony, and they'll join in and be as happy as Larry, whoever Larry is. Have the lift on. So we've got a queen, we've got space for the queen to lay, we've got some amount of stores in here. As we go through, we didn't bring a cover board for that one, did we?
Oh no.
As we go through, we'll steal some new frames from some of these other colonies as well, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. There's the entrance blocks. We'll put those on because we don't want them to be defenceless, because at the moment they're a fairly numerically weak colony. So we shove them in just to give them quite a small entrance
I can
to
guard
defend.
it. Yeah.
I'll move this back a little bit. Because sometimes, in spite of what is said by proper beekeepers, the hermits do recognise the box.
I was just looking at how many are sort of going in actually.
Now if we move it over to there, hopefully a few more will forage tomorrow and go back to that position rather than coming back to here. Anyway, there we go. Right, so that's that and that and that. We need a cover board for that.
Yeah.
And so that'll be in the bee room somewhere, will it?
Yeah. I'll do this one day and I'll fall over.
I shall laugh.
I know you will.
Right, let's have a look in here. This should have at least one
Decent frame.
new frame in it that we can steal because we put it in last week. And they've been working really well, this lot.
They haven't they? They're very good. Good girls.
I could do them using a bit less propolis, but
Oh yeah.
one can't have everything.
No.
Come on, girls, stand aside. That's really good. They've drawn that and they've laid in it and capped it all nicely, the right colour and everything in it. It's got stores. He's got everything on it, that one. And
As long as we're not moving the queen.
probably the queen as well, so we need to have a fairly careful look at this to make sure we don't take her along. But yeah, I mean that will keep that colony going for a couple of weeks.
They've started capping the honey on the other side, haven't they?
Yeah, there's capped honey, there's all sorts of things going on here. And it's all worker, except there's a row along the bottom which is kind of slightly elliptical drone size. But yeah, other than that, it's beautifully drawn and filled, so we need to get the bees off it. This is why I'm wearing Wellingtons today, because quite a lot of them wind up on the ground, and then they tend to run up the nearest thing, which, if it's the inside of your trouser leg, is not good.
No.
So that one, as it's kind of more or less finished, we'll put next to the one that needs and has a lot of sealed gubbins on that side, so they hopefully won't draw it out a whole lot further. So we'll put that in next to the frame that needs to be finished. Gives them a bit of relief from the sunshine. So here we have frames of foundation all ready to go in. So I shall put one of those in there. Because after all, just because they've made a good job of it once, you don't give them a holiday, you give them more to do. And I mean, part of the thing is that we don't really want them to overpopulate this. So if we're taking the odd frame of brood out now and again, then it keeps the population in this nuke box under control, because we haven't really got any sensible options for making this bigger. I'm just going to put the cover on it for now, because we might very well steal another frame from there and put it into this poly thing. Bit of brace comb look.
Oh yes.
They're obviously wanting space.
Want some more foundation.
So we're going to put another frame of foundation into this one. Yeah, this one was meant to be coming out anyway, because it's a wrong one, in my opinion. It's got the wrong top bar on it. I don't like these narrow top bars, because what they do is they build comb along here between the side bars, and they join it onto the next frame over. So, but if you have the right top bar all the way along, as you see here, you get one bee space between each two top bars, so they don't build brace comb in there. But if you have two bee spaces, as with this one, or three bee spaces, if you've got two of these next to each other, then it's an invitation for them to build comb in there. And they're not slow in coming forward, given that kind of invitation. I'm going to put that in a WBC right to the outside, so they tend to empty it rather than use it. Oh, shake the bees off first, Rog, come on. Give it some thought at least. And shaking an awful lot of nectar out as well. Look at that, sloshing it about all over the place. Right. So I'll put that right to the outside with a big gap between it and the other frames at the moment. And the next frame in is almost solid brood, most of it capped. There's some emerging, there's one there just coming out. A couple of drone cells, but you know, not a bad comb.
No.
Again, same on that side. There's the queen, sort of in the middle, just to the right, lower third, this way up. So yeah, queen scene.
Yeah.
It's all going on. Right, so the next one over is probably another frame of broods, so we could safely put a sheet of foundation in that space and expect them to draw it nicely and sensibly.
There's a good number of bees in there, isn't there?
When we get in there, we are on the way to having a proper colony of bees here. I'm going to leave a little gap there because then I'm going to put a sheet of foundation in there at the end. So it'll be between this one, which has brood in, and that one which has sealed brood in, and it'll be in the middle of the brood nest where all the heat is, so it should get drawn fairly quickly. But I shall now continue with the examination, but leaving that space there for later on. Hello,
Bees.
kitty winks. Oh, they look busy up there.
Indeed, don't they?
Just hang on, let's have a gander at the middle one. It's always a good place to start. See how they're progressing. They're progressing that look. Drawn that,
Look at that.
part of that side. Oh, horizontal wiring in that one. I wonder where that one came from.
Well, that's weird. So in this one we had those queen cells last week, didn't we?
Yep. Which we can very well do without. Beginning with the dummy board. And take it out. Which gives space to wave our elbows about a bit if you want to. Again, we have one of those unspeakable narrow top bar frames. As you can see, they've done the usual and brace combed it across and brace combed it across there. There is a little bit on that one, I have to admit, and a little bit over there, but it's not between the top bars on that one, it's above them. But you know,
This is space, isn't it? They're going to do it.
It discourages them from doing it. It doesn't stop them doing it entirely. Right, that one again, we've got all nectar on the outside of the first frame. We've got a bit of sealed brood and a queen cup on that one, on the inside of that frame. I think I'm going to shake the bees off and steal that one and put it in the WBC right at the outside so that the stores and bees get used, but the frame is then hopefully left more or less empty. And then we can get rid of it because, as I keep saying, I don't like these narrow top bars. So we got 3 frames in the middle with brood in, and then a frame of foundation outside of each of them, and a frame of stores each outside of them, and then 1 extra frame of stores. So I'll put that there. So I've left a space so I'm going to put a frame of foundation in that space, which might encourage them to draw it, because there's the sort of requisite stores on outside of it and brood inside of it, so it might encourage them to do what I want them to. And I'll probably do the same on the other side as well. Actually, I'll probably move that one in and put a sheet of foundation in between. The feeder then goes over that hole
like that.
Just going to have a look at these 2 new frames, and if they're any good I'm going to steal them for the WBC.
And give them these guys something else to do.
And give these, look at that.
That's good enough.
Beautifully drawn.
Yeah.
Laid up, sealed, bum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum.
On both sides.
Both sides, absolutely aces. Well done, girls.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that outside the foundation that was in there already. And a little bit of extra space there.
What's the extra space? What does that give them? Is that
Well,
because
because
the top bars?
it's a thin top bar, and I'd rather they took stuff out of this one and used it on those ones than just bridge the gap between those two, which is, you know, happening already because they've done it in that one. What you do is you pour the syrup into the outside there, the bees walk up the centre and come over the top inside this clear cup, and hopefully don't get in the syrup and drown.
Yeah.
Because obviously when we put the syrup in, we put the lid back on like that, so they can't get in from the top and they can't get in from the bottom inside.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the theory.
That's the theory. Encourages them down a bit, doesn't
You've
it?
got to trickle a bit down the central hole so they can follow it back to the main source. Should do just a little trace on the sides will persuade them to follow it up.
Yeah.
With a bit of luck. I think that's on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's it. So they're in their new.
Right, so that's that, and then next week we'll move that box over to this side.
Yeah.
Shake the emerged bees off the frames, and then the week after that we move it back in, and by then should be about finished, I should think.
Yeah. And then there's the combs that are in there you'll take away, and that's your box, isn't it?
Yeah,
So.
and either you repopulate it or melt it down, whatever.
We'll see everybody next week. Say goodbye to them all, Roger.
Goodbye to them all. Both our rampant, our not rampant, what am I, faithful viewers.
Faithful, yeah. You'll see them all next week with hopefully a.
And if they don't bring their uncles and cousins, then we probably won't speak to them the week after. Because we'll know when we're hurt.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy what we do here at Mantel Farm. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to keep up to date with our latest videos here on YouTube.